Hi, my name is Alyssa Beasley, and I'll be presenting my membranes concept map for cell biology, the lab. So, I titled my project Membranes because obviously that's what we're doing. And so, the dark blue represents the plasma membrane concepts, the pink represents the concentration, which is what I added in to define these terms. The light blue represents molecules. The green represents the membrane channels. The purple represents membrane proteins. So I'm going to start off with the dark blue, the plasma membrane. The amphithetic molecules are molecules that are water soluble and not water soluble and have the portions in them. And an example of an amphithetic molecule is a detergent molecule. Amphithetic molecules contain hydrophilic heads and hydrophobic tails, um, which is not water soluble and water soluble. And both of these create the phospholipid bilayer, and the phospholipid bilayer is a part of the plasma membrane. So, the plasma membrane can be described by the fluid mosaic model by Singer and Nicholson, and it can also be described by the sandwich model by Davison and Dinelli. The plasma membrane is the characteristic of the plasma membrane is selective permeability, which means it only allows certain molecules to cross the cell, and these molecules can be transported by electrochemical gradient, simple diffusion, active transport, and osmosis. And the vessels, I put that they permit selective permeability because it helps pinch off certain molecules in the membrane. So now we'll move on to concentration, which can also be defined as solutions. And examples of these are hypotonic solutions, um, and also isotonic solutions, and hypertonic solutions. A hypotonic solution means that it has a lower osmotic pressure. Isotonic means that it has the same osmotic pressure, and hypertonic has a higher concentration. And these are created by the concentration gradient, which is the gradual change in concentration of solutions. So the light blue I put as molecules because it was a term that could bring all of those together. An example of the molecules are unsaturated fatty acids, saturated fatty acids, protoglycan, and sterols/steroids. So for the green, I did membrane channels, and the passive transport allows for these channels, and examples of them are the gated ion channels and the ion channels. So for the purple are the membrane proteins, and these are all of the examples of them. And they can be either peripheral proteins or integral proteins, and integral proteins are created by facilitated diffusion. So, starting at the top, lipid-linked membrane proteins are they're attached proteins. They attach proteins to the bilayer with a covalent bond. Transporter proteins, they transport proteins across the cell membrane. Anchor membrane proteins anchor proteins to the bilayer to make cells interact. Protein attached membrane associated protein. They attach proteins together by certain bonds. Receptor proteins, the glycoproteins, enzyme membrane proteins, which they speed up the chemical reaction. Monolayer associated membrane protein, and also the glycolipids. So this is my whole concept map, and these are all the terms for it. Once again, my name is Alyssa Beasley. Thank you for watching.